What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, this is the Premier League score predictions game week 3. Game week 3 already. It's crazy. It's going too quick. Just slow down. But then we say that and there's going to be an international break in a week and a half time, whatever it is. So let's get straight into these scores. But before we do, to support the channel, drop the video a like and also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Let's go. So it's Chelsea-Luton, starters off on the weekend on Friday night. I'm going to go 2-0 in this one. We've only seen Luton once, just like Burnley, because of that fixture was meant to be played last week, Luton versus Burnley, but they've having renovations to the home ground, so can't do anything about it. Some people think it's wrong. I'm not too sure. I don't want to really talk about it. But they're back in action this weekend away at Chelsea. Chelsea obviously suffered defeat last week against West Ham. I think they'll bounce back 2-0 and put in a strong performance. Bournemouth Spurs. Now I think this could be a really good game, and I could have genuinely put 2-2, 3-3. I do think it's going to be a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. I just think there's going to be a middle section in the game where the teams just feel each other out and nothing really happened. Maybe there's 2 early goals, maybe there's 2 late goals, I'm not too sure, but I'm going to go for 1-1 in this one. Arsenal-Fulham. Arsenal, one of the 3 teams I believe that's done 100% so far. Brighton, City, Arsenal. I think they'll make it 100% still going into this weekend. Fulham haven't done amazing to start the season, and some people think they're going to struggle. Second season syndrome maybe, who knows. But I'm going to go Arsenal 2-0 this one. I think they're just going to have too much for Fulham, and they're just going to hurt them, control the ball. Fulham's going to be limited on chances, and it's going to end 2-0. Brentford Palace. Now this is going to be a really, really good game. 2 good teams, two very good technical teams, skillful, young. They're just going to go at it, but Brentford look on fire at the minute, and I'm going to get that to continue. I'm going to go Brentford 2-1 against Palace. Eze, very, very good player, and Burmo, Wissa, I think them 3 will steal the show for the whole game. But Brentford, I think, will just edge it out in a 2-1 win. Everton Wolves, I've gone for 1-1. Now, a lot's been made about this, about can both teams lose and stuff like that. Both teams do look poor this year. In terms of results for Wolves, they've looked poor. But performance on the opening weekend against Man U, they played very well, but lost the game 1-0. They got battered last week against Brighton 4-1 at home. But Brighton are Brighton. They're a very good team. So you can't really... I mean, you can judge them off that. They should be getting something out of the game at home when it's not against one of the top 6. But I'm going to go for 1-1 in this one. I think both teams are going to struggle. It could go either way. If I was to pick a way, it'd probably go Everton. Just because of home advantage, home crowd and things like that. But if Wolves get the foot on the ball and make the home fans annoyed, then it could turn ugly for Everton, but I'm going to go for 1-1. Man U Forest. Now, I've gone for 2-0 Man U in this one, but if there's ever a time for Forest to go to Old Trafford and pick up some points, it's this weekend. Forest are in average form, obviously losing on the opening day against Arsenal 2-1, but giving them a fright in the last 10-15 minutes of the game. Then we beat Sheffield United last Friday night 2-1, and we looked very, very good in the first half. Dropped off in the second when Sheffield United came into it, and then obviously won it in the 89th minute through Chris Wood. But with the way Man U performed, they played shocking against Wolves on the opening weekend, but still won the game 1-0. And then they were shocking at Tottenham last week, which is the game they lost 2-0. Mount's out, Shaw's out. Højlund could be available for his first game. Not sure how they're going to line up. Not sure how we're going to line up. But something in me thinks Man U is going to click this weekend against Forest, and it's going to end 2-0. Brighton West Ham. I've got Brighton to join Arsenal in keeping their 100% record so far, coming up against a very good West Ham side, to be fair. They're spending some of the right money. Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, Mohamed Kudus will be in, not for this weekend, but it's going to get done. They're spending some money. Like I said, I think I still need to see a striker of some sorts come in for West Ham for them to get back into where they was 2 years ago when they was fighting for Europe. But I think Brighton's just going to play the ball too much, have too much for West Ham. They've scored 4 goals in both of their opening games, home against Luton, away against Wolves. Bit of a step up in opposition maybe with West Ham, but I do think they'll get the win. 2-1 Brighton. Burnley Villa. I'm going to go 2-1 Villa. A bit of me was tempted to go for a 1-1 draw, but all that is basing it on is that we've not seen Burnley enough, obviously, because they didn't play last week against Luton. So we can only judge them on literally the first game of the Premier League season this year against Man City, who are the technically the best team in the world for winning the treble. And they did okay, but it's when you play City, aren't they? So you can't really do much. So that's all I'm judging it off, really. Like I said, I was going to go 1-1. Going to go 2-1 Villa. They dispatched Everton last week at Villa Park, but they got battered on the opening weekend against Newcastle away. So it's a bit weird, but I'm going to go Villa 2-1 in this one. Sheffield United, Man City. Good game this, to be fair. One of the promoted teams against City, the treble winners. Got City to edge it out in a 2-1 win. I just think City going for a tiny bit of a transition period at the minute, with players leaving: Laporte, Mahrez, Gundogan. Players coming in: Kovacic, Jeremy Doku. Could be Matheus Nunes. They've brought in Vardiol. They're going for a tiny bit of a transition period. Obviously losing De Bruyne as well to injury. They're going to struggle to fill his gap. But just think City will have too much. Got too much for everyone in the league. So Sheffield United, don't be down about it if you lose this game. Many of us in the Premier League will lose against Man City. It is what it is, but I'm going to go City 2-1 in this one. And to end the weekend is Newcastle versus Liverpool. Going to go for a Newcastle 2-1 win. They obviously battered Villa on the opening weekend. Then they just narrowly lost out to Man City last weekend. But they never really threatened City. City was very comfortable in the game. But the scoreline was only 1-0, so they did decent. Coming up against Liverpool, who they've just got no midfield, and I think that's where the game can be won and lost for either of these teams, and that's why I think Newcastle's going to win it 2-1, because they've got Tonali, Bruno, Joe Linton in the middle, and Liverpool have nobody. They've got McAllister, who had his red card overturned, so he's available to play. Szoboszlai, I think he's just an out-and-out attacking midfielder, so he's not defensive. And they've been playing Jota in there, Gakpo in there. It's just they need some defensive midfielders in at Liverpool. And until they get them, they're going to keep getting ran over. They was lucky against Bournemouth. I know they played well against Bournemouth, but they was very lucky. But I'm going to edge it for a Newcastle 2-1 win. But that's going to do it for the end of the video. If you've enjoyed, then drop a like below. Subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, see ya.